Since Appetite for Destruction took over the world in the late 80s, anytime Guns N' Roses puts out new music, it's an event. And like most everyone, we were waiting anxiously for the two new GNR songs to drop on Tuesday, December 2nd. And in typical Guns N' Roses fashion, they fucking decided to wait a couple extra days before delivering. But here they are. So what's the verdict? How do Atlas and Nothin stand up to the Guns N' Roses catalog? Mariah and I are going to answer that question right after this.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And holy shit, Mariah is back for the attack. Mariah, and obviously, Mariah, you're probably like the biggest Guns N' Roses fan that has ever appeared on the channel. So when I heard about these new songs, I was like, I gotta have Mariah on. So Mariah, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be back. Excited there's new Guns N' Roses music. That does not in a sentence I get to say very often. So it's fun.
And check out Mariah's shirt. She's wearing the Hair Metal Guru
Yep,
shirt,
Hair Metal Guru.
which you will
Great
find the
shirt.
link for that in the description. And it is December 5th, and Christmas is coming up. So if you want to look as badass as Mariah, head down in the description. Anyway, so first, like when did you? We're gonna get into the songs, but when did you hear that they were gonna be dropping these two new songs? And like, were you? I'm sure you were pumped as shit.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a weird thing because I saw Guns N' Roses announcement for their upcoming tour. Great, awesome, that's great. We love the band's touring. And I completely missed at the bottom. It said two new songs are going to be released.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that happened. And then so I saw somebody else on Twitter being like, yeah, I can't wait for these Guns N' Roses songs, released, whatever. And I was like, is that real? Is that a rumor? Or
Yeah.
What is that? So then I looked and I was like, this is like, I don't know, the 30th, maybe the 29th of November. It was not long before. It was like the day after they put out the announcement. And I saw that and I'm like, I like this. I must have just missed that. But I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
I think I hate to say this because I am a massive fan, and we're going to talk a little bit about our history, but I've kind of I haven't been super impressed with they put out they put out Absurd and Hard School in 2021, The General and Perhaps in 2023. And I was, they were okay, but I wasn't, like, oh my God, these songs are going to remind you of Appetite for Destruction. So I was definitely excited for the two new songs, but probably not as much as I would have been back in the day.
That's fair. I feel like that's my level of excitement whenever I hear a band I like is releasing music, because I'll always take more from the bands I like, especially a band that doesn't have that much like they do. So I'm like, yay, band I love releasing music. That kind of came out of nowhere. I know these have been leaks for a long time. I've avoided that because I want to listen to it as the artist intended it to be released. And so to me, they're new because I didn't hear, any of the leaks or anything like that, even though I know they've existed for forever.
Yeah. And here's kind of, I think I said this before once, but my thinking when my favorite new bands put out new music is always like, yes, they put out new music. And then it's also like, oh shit, is it going to be okay? Like, I'm always worried that is this going to bomb, because when it's your favorite bands, you want them to put out something awesome. You want
Oh yeah.
the rock world to be saying, holy shit, have you heard the new Guns N' Roses songs? They're amazing. So I'm always like, please do that, because you want the best for your favorite bands.
You do. And you also want the best for your ears. You want to listen to it and be like, yeah, this is good. I like this. I want to listen to this, more than once.
Yeah. So I want to do this. We're gonna talk about the songs, but so people know our level of Guns N' Roses fandom, let's talk a little bit about your history with Guns N' Roses before we get into the two new songs. So you tell me, what's your fandom level of GNR?
Pretty high. I grew up knowing the hits. I feel like most people do. I've known who Guns N' Roses was and a bunch of their music since, as long as I can remember. I got Spotify, I want to say in like 2018, something like that. So that's when I could see, music being tracked, and Don't Cry was, pretty steadily at the top. And then I got the rest of their albums at some point, and I heard the rest of them, and I like all of them. There's a, song or two here and there, like My World, of course. That's not all that great, but for the most part, I like it. And honestly, I saw them in 2021, right after they released Absurd. And I think they were the first ones, we were the first people to hear it, because I think it was like days before we we go in, which I was really upset because they released Hard School, which I vastly prefer,
Yeah.
not long after, and I would love to have heard that one. But that was kind of what encouraged me actually to get back on Twitter or X, because I had an account, talked politics, everything got really nasty in like 2016, 2017. I'm like, no, this depressing. I don't like this. And so I completely revamped the account because I was like, you know what? I bet I can find people who want to talk Guns N' Roses and other great music that I love with me, because I'm driving my family crazy talking about all the random fun facts. So I've been Guns N' Roses is my favorite band, and
Of
yeah,
all time?
I have a ton of Guns N' Roses stuff. I'm a massive fan. I hesitate to say they're my favorite band. They're the band I care the most about.
Okay.
There's just so many bands, so I've gotten away from ranking bands over the years just
Sure.
because it's impossible. It's impossible to do that.
So what like are you an appetite person? Are you a use your illusion? Like what would be your favorite
Yeah.
go-to GNR records?
So interestingly enough, I love all of them. I have called
Even
Appetite my
even
favorite album.
even Chinese democracy? Just kidding.
I'm gonna get to that. Appetite is probably my favorite album of all time. Again, hesitate to rank it because there are albums that mean a lot to me for different reasons. But it's one of the ones I go to most often. I would actually take the Illusions combined over Appetite. I know that's unpopular. I grew up on more Illusions. I just really like that style. It's just something I really like. Surprisingly enough, though, in my top five albums this year was Chinese Democracy, so apparently I listened to that one more than I realized.
Holy shit. Wow.
Spotify Wrapped.
Okay. Um, I I remember getting, I shit you not, I remember buying the cassette for Appetite for Destruction. And this was before, it blew up in 88, but there was a thing starting to happen in 87. Like people who were really into rock and reading the rock mags were knowing
Yeah, if
about
you're in
Guns
the
N'
know,
Roses.
you know that band's coming up.
So all these people, my cousin and I were working at shit. We were hoeing beets at this farm, eighth grade year, and all these there was like these older high school guys who were talking about Guns N' Roses. So my cousin and I went to Wapaton, North Dakota, which is a small, probably 7,000 8,000 people, and it was like Kmart or something. And each of us bought this cassette because we were like, all these people were like, this is the album that you need. So I remember getting it and just listening to the shit out of that. And then like a few months later, suddenly it starts blowing up and everybody's talking about Guns N' Roses. Um, I loved the song Patience. Out and I think I liked Lies a lot when it came out. Looking back on it, I'm like, all right, Patience is awesome. I don't think the album has held up. You get the sense that it was kind of cobbled together really quick to
It's a
cash in
stopgap. It
on.
was always intended to be that. And as far as those go, it's good, but, you know,
Yep.
mix of live and some other originals.
Yeah. But they could have farted in a paper bag in 1988, 1989, and everyone was going to buy it. Illusions. I really liked the Illusions. I thought they were too bloated. I thought if you had put out one record and put the best Illusion songs, you would have had another Appetite for Destruction. I thought there was a little bit too much extra stuff, but still they were so massive they could do no wrong. I loved the spaghetti incident because I didn't know all those songs. I didn't know the original version, so I like punk. So when I was hearing this shit, I was like, ah, here's Guns N' Roses doing a punk record, so I had nothing to judge it against. So I loved the spaghetti incident. I still do. Um, I
Yeah, it's different for the time too, which I appreciate.
right. I never I bought Chinese Democracy right away. You couldn't help but be intrigued by this album they had been talking about for over 10 years. Um, I still say it's a huge letdown. I know some people really like it. I probably do need to revisit it because I probably listened to it a couple times and
You
put it
should.
away. I should bring it back out. I know you love it. I know Trevor from the Crash Course Metal Show loves it. There are other
Patrick.
people who really like it. Yeah, Patrick. Patrick likes a lot of fucked up shit. Um, so I never got into that, and without going into detail on the other new songs, like you said, I remember liking Hard School. The other things just seemed like Chinese Democracy throwaways. But regardless of what I did or didn't like, you can't deny that Guns N' Roses is maybe the biggest name that came out of the 80s when it comes to rock bands. And I think mainly that's because of this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of big names too. Like there's a ton of massive rock band names.
Right. So,
The decade wasn't struggling.
right. But I mean, isn't that's got to be the Appetite has to be the biggest. I mean, it sold more than any Bon Jovi album, more than any Motley
It's the
Crue album.
best-selling app. It's the best-selling debut of all time.
Best-selling
One of the
debut.
only albums that would have sold better in that decade is Michael Jackson, but like he outsold everybody.
Maybe Back in Black.
Oh yeah, yep, yep. There's another
So,
one. Yeah,
but otherwise, they're right at the top of best-selling albums of all time. So, obviously, you're a massive, I think I'm a massive fan, even though I struggle with some of the later material.
at this point, you are you like enough to where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as of yesterday, Thursday, December 4th, we have two new Guns N' Roses songs, Nothing and Atlas. And I don't know about you, I probably listened to those fucking things 10, 15 times over
Oh,
the
I've listened to quite a few.
couple days. So
Yeah.
we were texting last night. We're like, all right, we're gonna do this little breakdown. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you have seen the song. So no, we're not gonna play the songs because then you get demonetized. And not that I make a bunch of money, but I want to make anything that I can. So no, you're not gonna play the songs. Go listen to the songs, and then you'll understand what we are talking about. So I want to start. I want to start with Nothing is the first song that I want to go into. So I'll let you start it off. Like, tell me after listening to it however many times, what do you think of Nothing?
I really like it actually. I was intrigued kind of by the first notes of it because it's got kind of a I don't know if it's a keyboard or exactly what it is playing at the beginning. I
It
should
sounds like
probably know
keyboard, I
that.
think.
Yeah, it sounds like a keyboard, and that's just really cool and it's a little different. And then you hear the guitar kick in, and I'm like, okay, no, that's Guns N' Roses. But I really liked it. I think it fits in. It would have fit in well with either Chinese Democracy or The Illusions. It kind of feels like a little bit of both of them, in a way, which I'm totally fine with because I like both of those records. It kind of like at parts it reminds me like a little bit of Estranged maybe or something like that, but not in a copy way, just if I'm going to compare the a bit of the sound. So I think the guitar solo is great. I think I'm always happy for a guitar solo in rock. I feel like those are kind of going away. So let's, keep to tradition. I like that. Lyrics were good. I really like it, and I really like I like the keyboard a lot, and that's what I've been playing a lot, and I really enjoy this song. I think it's really good. It was better than I was expecting.
Okay. Um, I'll be honest, when the slow keyboard came in right away, I was like, ah, fuck. Like, I do not like that keyboard. Now let me say that. After that, when the vocals come in and when it kicks in. I'm like, holy shit. Like when it kicks in, I damn near get goosebumps. I get the estranged comparison. Like it feels like
It
there's
feels like it. It feels like a similar vibe to me when I'm listening to it.
I feel like I hear part of estranged use your illusion mixed with like a hint of Chinese democracy. It's kind
Yeah.
of a ballad, right? Like it kicks in at parts, but I feel like it's kind of a ballad.
It's an upbeat ballad. The lyrics are definitely ballad
Right.
adjacent.
Right. The guitar solo kicks ass and like I said, if you took the keyboards out and that doesn't even really detract because I'll be honest, out of all of the so here's where I'll say this. Out of all of the new songs that Guns N' Roses has released, the six new ones since 2021, Nothin is the one that excites me the most. Nothin will be the one that I go back to the most because that and I'll even tell you when it comes into I think it's part of the chorus. So when it comes in like this says, "Oh my love, on a stormy sea of implications, love has given me a new way." Axel's voice is just like soaring and
It's good.
the guitars are coming in. That part gives me goosebumps. Nothing is my favorite new Guns N' Roses song. That's the one that you need to listen to. That's the one that I'm going to keep going back to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'll give my ranking too of the new songs. Maybe when we're done talking about Atlas because I've been thinking a lot about that. So you can kind of see where the nothing falls in with the
Okay.
rest of them for me.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of Atlas, what do you think of the other one?
Yeah, so that one I have has been more kind of known to have existed. That one's been talked about, rumored about. I know there's been leaks. The leaks were called Atlas Shrugged, which I'm gonna admit I like that title a little better.
Right.
I just think it's fun. And this one, when I listened to it the first time, I was like, oh, I think I'll like this one better than Nothing. I think this one's pretty good, but I definitely prefer Nothing. And that's not to take away from this one. I'm not super wild about how the song starts off. I don't know. Maybe that's just I don't know what it is, but I really like where it goes. I like the lyrics. I really like the chorus. When it says run and the road gets rough and you're the one whose shoulders just ain't wide enough, whose shoulders shrug when they've had enough, I'd be the last to say don't follow your heart, but there's more to what it takes to be a man than what you've known, than what you've shown, than that which we know you understand. I really like that part of the song. That part of the song is the one I go every time it comes out, ooh, I like that part.
I wrote down those lyrics, that part of the lyrics as well. I'm like, fucking, it feels like it feels like he's kind of come, like he's getting older and he's reflecting and analyzing, how you look at yourself as you get older. I really enjoy that because that's the shit that I do. You get to be a certain age and you're like, oh, you look back at the past and you're like, oh, how come this is the way it is or you start to analyze your mistakes and shit. So I see a
Yeah.
lot of reflection in the lyrics.
It's a bit of a unique way of saying it though, because the way it's worded. I mean, he's always been a good songwriter. That's always been a strength, but it kind of makes you think a little bit more. It's not. It is in the vibe of Yesterday's and Better. Those two are, if you want Guns N' Roses comparisons, is kind of what the vibe it gives me. It'd be those two.
Hmm.
Um, but it's not basic of oh yeah, in the past this was bad. It was just it was an interesting way of saying it, and I like the way he delivers the vocals, and
Hmm.
I like it. I wish it had a bit more of Slash in there, but I think it fits the song. But yeah, no, I like this one too, even if it's not quite as good as Better. It's a solid one for sure.
When I hear the first 10, 15 seconds, I'm like, Atlas is going to be way better than Nothing, is what I'm thinking. Because that keyboard intro and fucking Nothing drives me up a wall. But after that, it doesn't, it's good. It's more of an upbeat rock song. Again, it sounds like an outtake from Chinese Democracy. But after listening to it 10 fucking times, it's just not as engaging as Nothing. It's like, oh, hey, I can enjoy that, having it on the background. But when Nothing kicks in, I find myself leaning in and going, oh shit, okay, I need to hear this. And I
Yeah.
don't find myself doing that with Atlas. It's more background music. And that's how I can kind of tell. I probably after this won't need to revisit it, uh, maybe occasionally, but not
Yeah,
like
no,
Nothing.
I'll still have it on my playlist, and when it comes up, I won't skip it because I do enjoy it. And I think I would probably enjoy it a little bit more if Nothing did come out at the same time, just because I'm like, I just think Nothing's just a little bit more engaging. But I've seen people say they like this one better. I've seen people say they like Nothing better. I've seen, so it kind of just depends. You and I both like ballads too, so I
Yeah.
feel like that's just gonna get our attention sometimes more anyways.
So where do you place these songs in with the other new songs, the Absurd and Hard School and all that?
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking about it. I think I would. Nothing could surpass Hard School eventually. Currently, I have Hard School as my favorite. I listen to that so much when it comes out. I really like that one. It's real, hard, straight ahead rock song, and I appreciate that. But Nothing is second.
Okay.
I like Perhaps quite a bit. I don't know if I'd have that or Atlas as third. I'll go Perhaps and then Atlas, but again, I could see that one switching. It's just I've had more time with those ones. And then it's the general and then absurd last. I don't hate any of them.
Yeah.
Absurd is ridiculous, so I kind of like it just to laugh at it
It's
because
absurd.
it is absurd and that it's kind of funny and entertaining in its own way, but I wouldn't like say it's a great song. The general is fine. If it comes on again, I'll listen to it. It's fine. And then the other four I really enjoy. And it's cool to kind of see the rumored Chinese Democracy 2 come out because, Sebastian Bach said, when he featured on shoot, Sorry, I think he was on Sorry. Yeah, on Chinese Democracy. He was like, "No, there's another material, album or two material out there, there's more." So it's cool
Okay.
to see it come out and that Slash and Duffer on it because that's awesome too.
Right. The only song that got any play from me from the older or from the newer released GNR songs was Hard School. And like I said, I just Nothing is the only one out of any of those songs, and even more so than Hard School, where I was like, hold on. I love the song Estranged. There's parts of Estranged where I'm leaning in
Oh
and
yeah,
going,
me too.
okay.
Absolutely.
And Nothing is the first time that's happened in forever with Guns N' Roses. So
Largely, there's been positive reactions to these songs. There's always gonna be people that don't like it. There's always gonna be people who are like, release new music, and then they do it, and they're like, no, but not like that. Do it this way. And Izzy might not come back to the band, and he's not doing music right now. But overall, it's been nice to see positive reactions to new music. I always like that.
well, here's what's happening on YouTube. Atlas has 291,000 views on YouTube. Nothing is 413,000. So it
Wow.
seems like the public, at least according to YouTube, is agreeing with us that Nothing is the song. And you
It's the
know,
same on Spotify too. It's
okay,
more.
yeah. And to me, that makes sense. And I get it. It's lame probably to sit here and go, well, come on, can't you write something like Appetite for Destruction? It seems like everything that comes out kind of resembles Chinese Democracy. I get that some people don't want to go backwards, but I also will always kind of hope that if Guns N' Roses puts out something new, suddenly you'll hear just this ripping straight ahead hard rock song. But who knows? We'll see. We'll
And
see.
you might too, because these are leftovers and reworked songs from Chinese Democracy. So it makes sense that they
Yeah.
sound
Yep.
like that time in his life
Yep.
because he's writing them around that time. And they could have existed before that. I know he was writing November Rain, in
Totally.
the 80s. But, and maybe it's encouraging to see progress and see music released because maybe there will be an album and Slash and Duff will be involved and then they'll be adding, kind of their more hard rock flavor and then it balances itself out. And then we get more of that. I mean, vocals sounded really good. I liked that. It was promising. It was promising to have good ones coming out.
You'd love to hear that Slash and Duff and Axel we're all gonna go sit down in a room and write a bunch of songs like back in the old day. I just don't know that that's gonna happen, but you would love to hear that that's happening, that they're actually going to collaborate and with whatever direction they want to go is whatever direction they want to go.
Yeah.
But like you said, these are songs from back in the Chinese democracy era. So are they even considering attempting to write new stuff? I don't know. That's what I would love to see.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like if you've written so many songs, you don't just one day stop. Like
Yeah,
I'm sure that there's so much back in the
of
vault that
course.
no one's ever heard of. And seems like this was maybe a cathartic thing for at least Axel to get out. So maybe,
Yeah,
when he does, because a lot of these are really personal sounding, and
yeah,
once that happens, maybe they will. But then being back in the studio alone is pretty encouraging to me.
right. So nothing in Atlas, so we can promote Guns N' Roses, so they know, hey, we want people to buy your stuff and support the band. They will be available on pre-order, at least according to Ultimate Classic Rock. I think is where I got this. December 12th on 7-inch vinyl. And so when it comes out, support the band, buy the record. I will probably buy it just because I'm a collector. So
Yeah,
with
I will.
that,
I'll do the same thing.
yes. With that, we would love it if you went in the comments. Let us know if you had any comments on anything that we said, and what do you think of the two new Guns N' Roses songs? With that, Mariah, it's been awesome having you on to talk GNR. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, thank you for having me. It's been wonderful and always a pleasure.
All right.
Music.
Hey, like, subscribe. What the hell? Ring the bell. Like I said, go in the comments. In the description, you'll find the link to Hair Metal Mansion that I host every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time on Rock 101 KLOL. You'll find the link to Hair Metal Guru merch. You can look like Mariah, look all badass, get yourself a Christmas present. And hey, whatever you can do to support the channel, truly, I appreciate you being here. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves.